What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of What Are We Missing? Josh, man, we got a legend
Yes, we do.
in our presence, bro. A straight legend. It's crazy. I can't believe who we have right now. Probably the best jumper in the history of Grand Rapids. Yes, said it. Best jumper in the history. This person right here. So we all work at the Croc together, all three of us. And we always played like sevens. The game where you shooting threes back to back against other people. She was the only person I never challenged because I knew what it was going to be. So without further ado, we got Nikki, Big Nick Thompkins. How's it going?
What's up, fellas? Thanks for having me, man.
For sure.
Yeah, of course. Got the goat talk.
Yes.
We had to. We kind of talked about this off air, but this show is called What Are We Missing? I believe this is our 5th episode. So really the goal of this episode is to talk to, man, the greatest basketball players, minds, coaches that we've had in this city to learn, like, man, what makes you different? What helps you get to where you were at? So naturally we had to have you on the show because not just as a player you were great, but as a trainer and coach, you're amazing too, and you know, making a great impact on the community. So it had to have
you. Word.
Appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Before we get started, we want to get into really the icebreaker, the fun part of the interview. So you want to kick it off, Josh?
My pleasure. All right. First one. Favorite pair of Jordans?
Man, 11s are my favorite number, period. But the Concords all day. I had probably like 6 pair total of those.
Dang. Did you ever play in them?
I hoop in mine.
You do?
Mine, so.
Okay.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
That's always been a dream of mine, but I just can't do it.
Yeah. It's like you running on a cloud or something, man.
Yeah, running on money. I can't. Yeah. I gotta take care of mine.
Word. All right. Are you a candy eater?
Man, that's next to basketball. That's probably my biggest addiction is sugar and mainly candy.
Me too.
Gummies though, gummies, anything, gummy bears, gummy worms, like man, it's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah,
I remember you used to stay with candy at the Croc. I remember that.
Yes.
You know who has fire gummy bears? Ken's Fruit Market.
Really?
Yeah, go to Ken's Fruit Market. They have like a candy section. They got regular gummy bears and they got the sour gummy bears. They got it like in bulk or whatever. Check it out. Okay. It's fire. Shout out to Marcus. You remember Marcus Chandler?
Man.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
He put me on that. Yeah.
I'm on that Friday.
Yeah, Friday. Check it out. Let me know what you think.
Yes, for sure.
We got another one. What's some of the shows you're watching right now? What type of stuff you like to watch?
Man, it's crazy. I have been an HGTV type fixer-upper show for the last ever since the pandemic, pretty much. I've just been watching that. I've been a homeowner for a while, but just watching that show kind of inspired me to whether it's change a doorknob or refinish my basement or something like that. So I'm really on a lot of HGTV shows and documentary type stuff. Besides that, I'm watching sports. It's the season. So that's all I'm on. I'm on that real stuff, not the reality, but the real stuff. That's all I'm watching right now. It's something that's productive to my life.
I feel you.
Absolutely. That's my wife, man. She loves the HGTV stuff. She put me on it too. No.
Heck yeah.
Man. All right. So speaking of sports, it's hoop season. So are you a person that loves to watch college or pro? Are you a college or pro person?
Man, I love college. I love watching the college game. It's the kids are young, they're still learning,
Yeah.
they're raw, they're having fun still because it's not a business. So just watching the
Right.
college game just gets me excited
I
every
hear
time.
that.
I do watch NBA
Mhm.
for the fun of it, but college is where it's at.
Yeah. Did you catch the state game today?
Man, I was at work. I was at work,
Man.
but I did see the highlight, 616, Marky B,
Hey.
alley-oop for the dub. I
Yeah.
love it.
I was
Love
proud. I was really proud.
Yeah.
I think he might get drafted. I think he's got a chance.
Yeah, he can. He
Right,
can.
yeah.
He's playing out of position. When he
Mhm.
goes to those workouts and can show that he can play on the wing like that and shoot the ball,
Yeah.
I think he has a very good chance of getting drafted.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I think he
And
had
he
like
could still utilize that extra year.
Oh, yeah,
that
that's
COVID
true.
year
Yeah.
as
It's
well.
crazy.
So
Yeah.
he has options.
Yeah, he does. I think he had like 7 blocks today, something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the game winner?
He's killing right now. And I think he
That's
has
crazy.
double-digit scoring in all 5 games this year too. So
I love that. I love
yeah,
that.
He doing it.
yeah, definitely
He doing
representing.
it. Yep.
Sweet.
Last one. We got Thanksgiving on the way. Build your ideal plate.
Man, so if my mom is cooking, I'm definitely get some of her turkey because it's always nice and juicy and she got the nice gravy to go with it. Gotta have some yams, gotta have some collard greens, plenty of those, and then probably some potato salad. She makes some really good potato salad and some dressing. I only if it's some cranberry sauce. I gotta put the dressing on there. She she usually throws a little meat in the dressing too with the cranberry sauce. There is not an open spot on my plate Thanksgiving time. And
Yeah.
I finish it off with sweet potato pie. And I don't slice mine. I just take the whole pie, get a fork, and yeah, that's me.
Oh man.
You go to work.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It gets real.
Not playing over
Yeah.
there.
Oh man.
Yes, sir.
So
Sir.
I might be in the minority, but I can do without turkey. And
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
all sides. Like
Yes.
I'll have maybe a slab of it, but man, my plate is mostly turkey, or my plate is mostly sides for sure.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I feel you. I feel you on that.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get into it. First we wanted to talk about Big Nick LLC. You got the hoodie on right now. It's
Yes,
dope.
sir. Yes, sir.
So
Thank you.
yeah, talk to us about how that idea came about and
Yeah.
how it was birthed.
Yeah, so it started in college, probably my sophomore year in college. And I played center. A lot of people don't know I played center in college. 5'9", barely grazing 5'10". So I'm playing against these girls that are 6'3", 6'4" every night on the court. And so every time I'm playing them, I'm having a lot of success playing to these girls bigger than me. So I trash talk a little on the court. So, every time I'm scoring, I'm telling them, hey, get big, get big. You know what I'm saying? I'm big out here type thing. So obviously my name is Nikki, so the big in the Nick, but the big didn't come from size, obviously, because I was shorter. It was more about my heart and my passion. So that's how the big Nick was birthed in a basketball sense. So during the pandemic, we had so much time to think, it just translated to how I could bring that to the community and do a lot of community engagement. So all my life, I've always found a way to give back, whether it was, helping. I've taken off my socks one time and gave it to a kid in the middle of winter because he showed up at the after school program without socks on, or giving Thanksgiving baskets, just did some of those last night, Christmas basket, whatever, just anything that I can come back in the community and give. It's just like doing it big. I'm passionate about my community. And so that was the birth of Big Nick, turned it into an LLC. And I really didn't have a brand for it. Actually, one of the kids that I trained that you know very well, that you also coach, Brady Titus, I was training him. And one day his dad came in, which he helped with one of the logos. I have 2 logos. And he helped with one of the logos. He came to pick Brady up from training one day. He was like, Nick, here you go. I got something for you. He threw it to me. He had put my logo on a t-shirt. And I'm like, I was like, yo, this is dope. It was just a t-shirt, but it had the Big Nick on it. And it's just, man, it was so cool. So I just wore it a few times working out. People were like, yo, what is that? So once I got to tell my story, they were just like excited about it. I was like, yo, how can I get one of those? So I just had Brady just kind of pumping them out, Brady's dad pumping them out for me. And that was kind of the birth of the brand from just the vision of it.
Yeah. Shout out to Ted, man.
Man, Ted is the man.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Man. So who your target audience, like, with your with your LLC?
Well, initially it started out for like at-risk community, kind of where I grew up, where I felt the biggest need to do it big at, which is my slogan, by the way. To do it big is it's big. Anything that you're passionate about can be do it big. So my doing it big in the community can be different than somebody else who is passionate about art or cooking or painting, So it was initially that I'm going to community and I'm gonna get all these kids who don't think that they can make it out, and tell them my story and let them know that they can. I never thought I would go to college. I never thought I would play, all over the world or something like that. So I was going to target them at first, but once I started telling my story to everybody, this can translate to any audience, any age, the youngest age all the way up to the oldest age, because my do it big going to the gym could be someone who lives in a nursing home where they get up every morning and maybe their goal is to walk all the way through the trail without stopping. So they're doing it big in that way. So the audience is everybody who has a passion.
What has been some, cool things that you've been doing thus far or recently through Big Nick?
Man, well, what was cool is because I grew up on the southeast side of Grand Rapids, and Baxter Community Center was right down the street. So that's where I got meals. That's where I went to the dentist, the doctor, and all of that. So the director from Baxter actually reached out to me and was like, hey, we're starting this after school program, and you're the first person we thought of to do clinics down there, basketball clinics. I'm like, what? This is where Baxter was an outdoor park when I grew up. And then when I was working for the city of Grand Rapids, they demolished the park and turned it into an indoor gym. And so for half of the summer, we didn't have hoops. We just had this indoor place. We played dodgeball, whatever. And then finally, Dick DeVos donated 2 hoops from the Orlando Magic practice facility. So we got to watch them use this crane to bring this 2-ton hoops in there inside the gym. And once everything got settled, I told everybody, hey, everybody, let's stand over in the corner. I got a basketball, and went to shoot the first hoop. And then I wanted to be the first one to break it in. I'm like, this is my gym. This is my area. So I got to shoot the first hoop. So when she asked me to come back and do a clinic where I honed my own basketball skills, it was so amazing. These kids, like, I had to pull over and call my mom after the first day because these kids were like so happy to have this opportunity. They were like, Big Nick, Big Nick. Everywhere they were just saying Big Nick. And this little girl, I gave her a shirt the other day. She just came. She was like, Big Nick, I'm so happy I came. I didn't even want to do this today, but I'm so happy that I came. So I'm pulling over. I'm calling, Mom, guess what just happened? I just had this amazing amount of joy with these. It was like 16 kids the first day. Nothing this year has topped that moment. It was awesome. All the other stuff that I did was cool, but that right there, just coming back and giving back to the neighborhood that I grew up in, and for them to just receive me like that, love, love, love.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Yeah, amazing how it goes full circle like that. Yeah, you don't know who the next Nikki is going to be because of that.
Right.
So
exactly.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing who that is for sure.
Yes, yes.
So, you're talking about, Baxter and stuff. And shout out Baxter. I used to work there. So,
okay.
Yeah. But how did you get your start in hooping? So, you said you honed your skills at Baxter, but, when did you start?
So, well, we live right down the street from Baxter. So near the Baxter and Fuller area, Bemis and Fuller and all that. So we had 3 parks that we mainly hit every week. Martin Luther King Park, and Baxter Community Center. And then when we had a ride or had a bike or a bus, then we would hit Michigan and Fuller Park. So we made our rounds there every day. I was at a park. So obviously I was the only girl. So I was always playing with the guys. So of course, guys are not going to respect when a female or a girl, at the time I was young, if I'm in the court, they're not going to pass me the ball. So that's how I became, I think that helped with my athleticism. I knew that I had to get a steal or a rebound or something like that to be able to touch the ball. And so if I would make something out of either of those, then that's how I would gain the respect. So all it took was a few months and they saw the consistency in me. So then they were like, hit me up like, hey, Nikki, you know, coming knocking on the door. We're hitting the park, come with us, you know, let's go run. So those 3 parks really, mainly MLK because it was always more people there. Baxter only had 1 full court. So we knew if we went to King, we could play, you know, have a court here, have a court there, switch winners and losers. So I had a chance to play against more people up there. So that was an everyday thing. I grew up in the hood. I didn't move out the hood till like 12 years ago. So
wow,
that was home for me.
yeah.
Wow.
I might be crazy, but are days like that anymore? Like I'll drive through parks, man. I don't really be seeing people hooping like that anymore. Kids, really.
Not even close. Not even close to the same. It's you know, the kids are, oh, it's too hot, or I only can play indoors, or I'm gonna play this video game or on social media. It has taken so much away from kids that I, you know, even I see them train, you know, they're lacking so much because they're missing out on just the basic stuff. That's how I got good at my game, just by going to the park every day. I didn't have the greatest shot, but you know, everything else I got just from playing experience. Like I said, rebounding and being able to anticipate passes and get a steal, because I knew that was the only way I could get the ball. So you have to keep doing stuff over and over to learn more about it.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. I just want to ask you this one thing, because you said something that was like real interesting, and we will get back on track with your story too. But I just want to know what you think. So when me and Wes was in high school, middle school, there was no like social media or anything. So I feel like we was like the last generation that you hear somebody's name and you like, oh, I never even seen them play. I heard about them, you know, but now with social media and stuff, like you said, in video games, like kids just want to like stay inside, just like want to watch highlights, and like don't actually want to put in work. Do you think that's like been a hindrance?
Absolutely. Yeah. I even, it's crazy now because I even incorporate that in workouts for the kids because I know that it's a thing now. So you almost have to adjust because they're not going to stop doing it. So a lot of times when I do a training session and I know we didn't get to everything we needed to, I'll give kids homework. And I'm like, okay, for example, you need to get stronger. So I'm going to need 3 sets of 20 push-ups before you go to bed tonight. I said, you can even turn on your Netflix or your YouTube or whatever you watch, sit it down on the floor, hit your 20 push-ups. That way you don't lose what you think is way more important, and then you're gaining some strength. So yeah, it is a major hindrance, but they don't see it. And so that's why I have to incorporate. You kind of have to adjust with the times, which is crazy. But definitely they're missing out on a lot.
Absolutely. And that's a smart thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
Because it kind of helps them feel like they still have like control over what they're doing in their time. Sounds like you worked at Wedgwood before.
Currently still there, 8 years in.
But no, staying on the topic of like social media, YouTube, and you know, kids have so much access to information. You know, all of these, you know, famous kids that, you know, have a huge following, they're posting their workouts, their full workouts on YouTube. Like we can see it. You're watching it, but you're not doing it. Like that's that's what we're missing there. It's just crazy. Like, you're like, yeah, I want to go D1. Yeah, I want to go to the pros. This kid is ranked top 5, 10, whatever in the nation. And you're seeing his workouts, you're seeing what he's doing, but you're not matching that.
Nah.
It doesn't add up, you know.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
yeah. It's crazy. But yeah, back to your story though. So early on, you know, who were some people that you looked up to, or that made an impact on you when it came to basketball?
Man, my big brother, man. A lot of people don't know him. His name is Nikki Thompkins. He's my only brother. He's 6'9", left-handed, freak athlete, just dominated. So he spent his first 2 years of high school in Grand Rapids. He got cut from Creston his sophomore year. So he was so big, my mom couldn't afford him anymore. So she sent him to Lansing to move to live with her sister. So he ended up going to Lansing Sexton High School for his last 2 years. Just a dominant dude, didn't have great grades, but he was so athletic, and man, he was just a beast in my eyes. And this is who I saw every day, you know, play high school ball. And we were going to his games, and it was just, the crowd was just going crazy when he would get a rebound or a dunk or something. So I always looked up to him. I mean, he's the only reason that I went and played pro ball overseas, because he had already experienced it. Hey, sis, you can do this. So he was my biggest influence as far as like person that I knew. And then I was super influenced by Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley. Those are two of my favorite athletes ever. So, yeah, Chuck, man, Chuck. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Obviously, we know Mike. Charles was a dog too.
Undersized.
Yeah, for sure. That was a little bit before. Like, obviously, I know who those guys were, and I remember watching them as a kid, kind of. But I didn't really get like the full context, as like the same context as I did like in the early 2000s, even the late 90s a little bit. But
yeah.
So what actually, how did your brother, did he end up like continuing to play, or did he just play in high school?
He did. No, he played. He played high school. Like I said, he didn't have grades, so he went to Mott Community College right away. And then he played there 2 years, and he went on and played at Fort Hays State. No, he went to Kellogg after Mott, Kellogg Community College. Then he went to Fort Hays State in Kansas, got all the accolades and everything. And so he went overseas initially. He played so many years in South America. He actually has 2 children in South America. And then he got a shot. He came back and he played for Grand Rapids Hoops. They were in the CBA at the time. All-star starter. I mean, dominated. He played with like Reggie Jordan, the Thomas twins, Dwayne Washington Sr. All those guys were dominating the whole CBA. And he, that girl kind of got him off the sidetrack. So he got sidetracked with that. But he did so well. The Pistons, he had all these NBA teams. I wish I had the articles with like NBA call very soon for Tompkins. So he went training camp with Detroit Pistons. Dominated training camp. We're like, oh my gosh, this was the first year of the Palace, I think, that they had. So he made it all the way through training camp. Last day of training camp, drug test. Failed the drug test, right? So he comes back home, he just goes back overseas, and he never was able to shake his habit. Never was able to shake his habits. And that actually ultimately took his life. He ended up passing away, a heart attack. So he had the 2 kids. He was actually about to retire, and he was coming home to kind of set up shop, get the house. And he didn't make it. He had a layover in New York and never woke up. Sleep, never woke up. And so that's how we lost him. So we're actually right now been in contact with his oldest daughter in South America. She's going to come and visit us for the first time. So
that's cool.
That's real cool.
Yeah, it turned out to be really awesome because we got some really nice kids out of it, and they're excited to come to America. But He was still my guy. No matter any stumblings he made, I still looked up to him. He could do no wrong in my eyes, and he's still a beast in my eyes. So
Yeah.
long live Ronnie Tompkins.
Man. Yes. Long live for sure. Great story.
Yeah, for real. So, you were, talking about your older brother. How was hoops, back in the city, like when you was coming up?
Man, hoops was so gritty and aggressive and right up my alley. I think that is where I got my game from. There was no finesse players growing up that I can remember. I don't remember any. It was just all downhill. You get the ball, you're being aggressive, going to the basket, you're taking all these hard fouls, you're not calling them, you're just playing through them because just the mindset, I'm in to get a bucket. I'm not a whiner. Nothing. Like even me, they're like, nah, we're not giving you. I don't care if you're a girl, you play like a dude, you get the same treatment. So it was, man, it was anytime I wanted to play, I could pick a place to go. We didn't have a hoop, at my house. We couldn't afford one of those, so I always had to go to the park, which was good because then I always had somebody to play with. So yeah, it was that gritty basketball. None of that. That's probably why I didn't know how to shoot or learn how to shoot until after college because I never shot growing up. I was always in the hole, banging with people. That's all I knew. So
Big Nick.
Yeah, exactly. That was the mini birth. I didn't even know about. Yes.
So when did you learn how to shoot? Because your clip is out of this world.
After college. That's what's crazy because in high school, obviously, I didn't have to because I would go to the hole. I got a lot of points off of offensive rebounds or fast breaks. And I went to college and I was labeled a designated non-dribbler for starters because they didn't want me to have a ball in the open court because that wasn't my thing. It's like, throw me a long pass, let me catch it. So I played the 4 and the 5. So there was no, you got to learn how to shoot because I was productive down there. So once I did my first WNBA tryout and got cut, I was like, oh, I do have to have a jump shot now because I'm not down low. So overseas, you can play any position, you can do whatever, you can dominate. But in the pros, you have to play what they tell you to. So at 5'9", they're like, well, you're not going to play center in the WNBA, you're going to be a guard. So you got to shoot. So obviously, I stunk it up. I did New York Liberty for my first tryout. And so I left that, went back overseas, and that's when I started working on my game. So it wasn't until like 1999 that I really, really worked on it because the first inaugural season of WNBA in 97, I had torn my ACL. So I didn't even get to be a part of that. So I spent a year rehabbing, came back, tore the other one, wasn't a part of that. So when it was crazy. It was crazy. So when I finally, I finished the season over in Switzerland, and my agent was like, "Hey, we got Detroit shot. They need a guard bad. Are you ready?" I'm like, "Bet." She had them come to Grand Rapids, so I got my tryout at Paulai. That's my gym.
Comfort.
That's my gym. Wow. So I actually was working there. I was doing some part-time hours there, so they came to the gym. I had been in the gym all day. Couldn't miss threes. They had me going all the way around, suicide, whack, whack, knocking them down. So before he even leaves the gym, Tompkins said, "We want you." I was like, "What?"
Hey.
"Oh, we want you. We want you to be a member of Detroit Shock." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." I'll walk them out the door, lock up, get on the phone, like, "Yo, I'm in there. I'm going crazy. I'm running all over Paulai. I'm the last one in the gym, so I'm going crazy in there." She's like, "What?" I'm like, "I did not miss a shot. I mean, I don't even know if I've ever shot that good in Paulai since, but I made the team." So I get there. It was Swin Cash's rookie year, and I can't remember how old I was at the time, but I was old, coming off the 2 knee. Them guards wore me out. Me trying to come and play a 2, and that's not my natural position. I had just learned how to shoot, but playing and guarding 2s, even though I was athletic, it's different. It's way different. So I lasted. I had my little 2 weeks of WNBA. I had an apartment. I had a car that they gave. get your per diem and all that. So I felt cool. We got during that time the Pistons was in the playoffs against the 76ers. So I got to see Iverson play, Bill Laimbeer had gotten us all the ladies of suite. We're working out with Ben Wallace, and it was a pretty dope experience. I hate that it came so late in my career, but
yeah,
it was dope. It was dope.
Man, that's real. That's real cool. That's real
For real.
cool. So you said it was about 2 weeks?
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Okay.
No games. It was still preseason, so I don't have any statistics in the WNBA, but I got my little picture in the media guide. I got to do media day. The one guy, what's the famous guy's Bob Becker? He had came down to Detroit and did an exclusive on me on media day. It was cool. It was so cool at the time, though. I tell this to a lot of people that's coming up, like, man, you got to take advantage of these moments. I was just feeling like, okay, if I get cut, my agent's gonna get me on another team. I can rehab this knee, because that's mainly what happened. My knee just started blowing up and swollen and whatever. I ended up getting cut, but I was just like, oh, I'm gonna get on another team, and I didn't. So that kind of was like, ooh, I got to make sure that I, run that back and let people know taking advantage every moment, because I feel like I could have put in way more at the time, but I'm like, they want me, they came to Grand Rapids, they got me, I'm good to go, but no, don't ever get comfortable.
Yeah, no, you can't. I mean, you've been further than, I don't know what the percentage is, but a lot of people in the world who want to hoop,
right?
So you know that experience way more than what any of us know, So just try to explain to them, like you said, like you have to always be ready, and you can't take things for granted. Like if you was talking to like your younger self, or like a young hooper right now, like what would you say to them to like try to get their mind to understand that?
Man, just being excited for the opportunity initially, and like I told you guys how excited I was when he said, you're on the team, and I was going crazy and telling my agent all that. I didn't keep that same excitement when I got to the gym. It was like, oh, I'm here with all these other girls. I'm supposed to be here. And it's not like I coasted through it. It's just not using every opportunity, whether it's to dive for the ball or to, cut harder around the screen, or, not leaving the gym without being exhausted. I say that a lot to my kids now too. Why are you leaving if you didn't give everything? Or what was your reason for not doing your best before you left out the gym today? So it was me thinking back once, I was driving home, like, man, I could have did this or I could have did that. So you never want to get caught when I could have, would have, should have. So what's missing is taking that moment for granted, thinking that you always have another opportunity, because it's not always like that. You have to use every opportunity. Like, this might be my last chance. I better give my all. And that's every time you go in the gym. You can't assume you're going to have another workout, or you can't assume anything. So you always got to take it like, this is I'm giving everything that I got as soon as I walk in here, and when I leave out, I'm going to be exhausted. Like, okay, I got to go rest up for tomorrow so I can go hard again.
Man, that's so good. That's so good. That shoulda, coulda, wouldas, that kills all of us, man. Former hoopers, former athletes. Like, I sit up sometimes and just think, like, dang, if I could just go back and just change a couple of things, I just wonder what would have happened. So that's really another goal of this show, is to help minimize a lot of that. So these young hoopers out there can learn from your mistakes, from my mistakes, from Josh's mistakes, and anybody else that we have on this show, and just like, yeah, man, okay, so they did this, that didn't work out for them, I'm gonna try this so that doesn't happen to me. But that's the 32-year-old mind thinking. So
right.
Yeah. But I want to get back to so your high school. So you get to Creston. So talk to us about like your freshman year, and what your expectations were for yourself, going into your first season in high school.
And, I honestly, I didn't have any. I was from the inner city. I was going to school all the way out at Creston. I knew a couple people that went there, so I just knew that I loved sports, and so I knew I was raw as well. So I wasn't gifted skill wise, but I was very athletic. I was fast. I was strong, but I didn't have a skill set. So I was just like, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna do me. So I wasn't on varsity initially. So they told me, hey, we need you to stay down. I played JV as a freshman. Just learn more about the game. And so halfway through the season, they asked, are you ready? And I actually wasn't. And I chose not to go up. I waited until districts to go up because I felt like I wasn't going to play a lot. And that was due to lack of confidence. I wasn't as confident as I should have been going in. They believed in me, but I didn't know if I was ready. So I didn't go up till varsity until districts, and then from sophomore on, I played varsity. But then I learned each year. I was like a sponge. Okay, what else do I need to know? And that's when I started making the mental part of the game major for me because I had all the physical aspects, but people don't understand like having that IQ gives you so much of an advantage. That's why I can still hang with some of the kids that I train as far as, playing one-on-one or two-on-two with them. I'm like, man, you can't even barely walk. How are you doing it? Because it's up here. I'm like, I'm smarter than you. You're faster and stronger, but I'm smarter than you. And they don't think that's enough to beat them until I release some of this footage. But I'm not. But yeah, high school was, it started being fun once I started learning the game. It became fun instead of stressful or worried about forgetting stuff because you can make up for it in other areas when when you're smart enough to know what to do next. So
yeah, for sure. So following up with your comments on the mental side of the game, what did you do? What kind of work did you put in on that side to help you just improve overall?
I stayed at the gym all the time because the boys used to practice after us. So I would be at the gym from when we got out of school all the way to the last bus. We used to have a last bus that would leave the school. Basically, if you missed it or whatever, and I would just stay and just learn. I would watch the coaches. We had pretty good coaches in high school, and then the boys did too. So I would just watch and learn. It was just like, man, how is he doing that? How is he doing that? Watch the way the coaches talk to the players. Watch how they respond. If it was good or bad. Hey, you go run the bleachers. You're being disrespectful or stuff like that. Just I'm a big observer of things. And so that's kind of how I learned by watching and then let that translate, to myself. So yeah, that was big for me.
For sure. Yeah. Being a sponge.
Is that like, cause you said the other issue or whatever that you had your freshman year was the lack of confidence. Is that what helped you get that confidence to where you like, all right, I can do this?
Absolutely. That's kind of like, that's just like life for me. So if I don't know something, then I choose not to do it. So then that means that I'm missing out on something. So it was like, the more that I learn, the more that my game is going to expand. And that's how I treat life. If I don't know something, instead of saying, oh, well, I'm not even going to approach that, it's more like, let me learn about it. So then when I'm hit with it, then I already know what's up. So it's like the fear, once I eliminated fear, I became more confident. It's like, oh, I can do this, I can do that if I'm not scared to do it. And that's the same thing, that's life right now. I was fearful of thinking no one would like the Big Nick thing. Right? But I had to eliminate the fear part of it. And for it's like, okay, if I believe in this and if I model what my vision is, then how can they not like it? So it's almost like anything that you want to accomplish, you have to learn about it. You have to read about it. You have to watch others doing what you're doing. With the social media now, you want to learn how to do a move, you can go and find a video for it. Yeah. If coach is saying, hey, next year I want you to be a better defender, you can go watch some stuff to be a better defender. It's so many avenues to get where you want to be anywhere in life. There's no excuse. There's no excuse to not learn and know stuff. And so that's where you gain your confidence. I wasn't a big reader before, but I am now because it's mandatory. You have to learn and know stuff to get that confidence. So when people hit you with, oh, well, what about this? Yeah, I read about that, so I know. So it's familiar to me.
Yeah. It's like that in every, like you said, every aspect of life. Like even at my job, when I'm, learning, the more reps I get, the more I learn. So like you said, the more you practice, the more you learn. So it's just, getting more and more reps in there. So for you in high school, when would you say, like, man, it just started to click for you as far as just like you're hitting the ground running?
Yeah, I would say my junior year, because I used the freshman year to learn. I used the sophomore year to kind of translate what I learned, and then junior year, I was like, oh, I've done this now for 2 years. What else you got for me? So that's kind of when I settled in. That probably was my best season of high school. I think that's I want to say my stats were probably, if they weren't better than my senior, they were very close. That's kind of where I just kind of, every game, I made an impact. No matter the opponent, I was excited about every game. I was confident every game. I hated at the time that my coach would hold me accountable for stuff. So I was like, well, I'm doing all this, why do you want me to do? It makes sense now, because they know it's more in there. And so he was just trying to pull that out of me. And that's what that sophomore year was. So junior year, I had no problem with anything. It was like that was the transition year. Like, this is mine now. I can do whatever I want on the court on both ends. So
for sure. That reminds me of that. I love that movie Love and Basketball. When Monica was in college and she thought her coach hated her, and she says, like, I thought you hated me, you always ride me and stuff like that. And she's like, when I'm not, like, I know the potential you have, and when I'm not riding you, then you should worry. Like, as a kid, I just let that kind of go over my head. But I probably watched the movie a couple years ago. As an adult, I'm like, dang, there's so much truth in that. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. So then, from high school, like, talk about from high school to how you got to Central. Like, what happened? How was recruiting? Like, who was recruiting you? Things like that.
Yeah, so in high school, I played AAU in Kalamazoo. Actually, I didn't play in Grand Rapids. It wasn't really a team that I felt comfortable on. It wasn't, good competition. So I went to Kalamazoo. Me and a few other girls from Grand Rapids played on this team called Kazoo AAU. And so we were traveling everywhere playing. I mean, we were all on the east side of the state where the so-called best players were, just dominating. And then we went to the Junior World Championships in Russia, Sochi, Russia. Yeah, it was crazy. Like 1997, 1987, I'm flying to Russia, my first flight ever. Man, shout out to my coach. He paid for my flight because we were broke. I grew up really poor, and so he helped fundraise for me to get over there and took care of me. And so that was like, once we came back from that and won that championship, that's when we started getting calls. Like pretty much everybody on my team got a D1 offer. Just because we dominated. And, I don't think there was an EYBL and all that stuff, but as far as the state of Michigan and girls basketball hoops, we dominated. So that's how the recruiting came. Like I had offers from 6 Big Ten schools. We had, some went to Notre Dame. We were all over the place. So I didn't really understand what the recruiting was. So I had home visits. Every time people came to the house, my mom would cook full meals. We didn't know because my brother didn't really go through this process. So U of M came to the house, we're cooking, she's cooking for them. And CMU comes to the house, Michigan State, all of them, they come in the house, she's cooking for them. So I'm just like, you know, they ask the question, why do you want to go to UM? And me at the time, because it's the same colors as Creston. I like blue and yellow. You know, I remember that vividly, saying that because that was the first question the coaches asked me. I was like, because y'all blue and yellow. Like, I like that. Michigan State was just too big for me. That campus was huge. But once I went to CMU, it was really, really crazy. It just felt really good. It felt genuine. It felt like home. It felt like, okay, if I'm gonna be away from my mom, this feels like I'm gonna be all right. And so it came down to CMU and U of M because of those colors, really because the colors. And I did. The assistant coach was really awesome. She really almost like I was right there. But I don't know, something about Central just felt like home. So that made me choose that. And all the other schools, like I knew I wasn't going to go that far away from home. I wasn't going to leave the state of Michigan. So all the other offers, while they were awesome, I don't even know how many total offers I had, but it was quite a few. But it just, I knew I was going to stay close to home because I was a homebody still now. But it was, I can't even say the recruiting process was amazing because I really didn't know it as much as I know now. I would have took more advantage of it. I would have took all of the you get these visits. I would have went all the way to Cali and the Long Beach State and all this stuff. It's like, man, I learned so much later. So I'm hoping that people, young people, are really listening to this and see what was missing from me as a younger kid and take advantage of all these opportunities. But it was great. I don't regret my decision at all. You know, with the way social media is now, oh, Michigan was Big Ten. I didn't even know about that stuff. I just went what felt good in my heart, and it was awesome too. So,
what's up?
Yeah, that is dope. And you made the best decision for you personally. And I think that it's very mature of you to do that. And I think probably the average hooper would probably go to the biggest school. You know, they probably would have selected Michigan or Michigan State just because of the wow factor. So I think that's extremely dope. Have you ever got that question? Like what were you thinking? Like what was going through your head? No,
I haven't actually. I haven't. No.
That's what like Wes said though, it's like real mature, you know, and like wise on you. Cause like some cats, I can rattle off 5 names right now where you look back and it's like they went to the big school and then ended up not even hooping by the time we was done college. Like or having to leave, or because it's just like they get caught up in like, oh, you know, it's the Big Ten or it's whatever. And then it just don't work for them. And it's like they had offers at a school that actually did work for them. And that's where they should have went, you know, but not being mature. So.
Yep. Or they didn't see the court at all.
Right.
Yeah, I remember talking to Kobe Buffkin last year, just about his decision going to Michigan, obviously. He said something that really resonated with me, and I hope that it, you know, sticks to these kids out here. He said, I threw the fanboy stuff out the window. Like my entire family is Michigan fans, but I threw it out the window. Like I didn't let any emotions, you know, affect my decision. Yeah, and it ended up being Michigan because it was a great fit for me, and they showed that they really wanted me, and it was a family atmosphere. I said, dang, man, dang. Like I'm a University of Texas fan. If they would have offered me like in high school, I would have committed. Like, yep, I'm coming. Just because, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
He's so level-headed that he made that type of decision. So, and it seems to be working out pretty well for him. Have you seen like him on TV? He's looking.
He's gaining more and more trust each game from Juwan. And I think, man, he's going to make an even bigger impact the second half of the season, I think, because he's
Yeah,
getting that learning experience now and learning the coach and all that. So.
for sure, for sure.
Yep.
I think that's a good segue. Speaking of like freshman year, so let's go into Central Michigan. So I did some research on you. So
Okay.
We do research on this.
So as
Nice. Okay.
as of this was maybe 2018, maybe.
Mhm.
The article said you ranked 12th on all-time scoring list with
Okay.
1,258 points, 12 points per game. As for your career, you shot 54% from the field your entire career, and then 10th all-time in rebounds, 7.4 rebounds per game. So, giving you your flowers now. That's
Thank you.
work. That's work.
Man,
Thanks.
that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Man,
For real.
thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
because really all of those stats are from just 3 years of playing.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I sat the bench as a freshman. I mean,
Mm.
Yeah, I went in there. You know, it was kind of the same thing as freshman year of high school, not really having expectations because you don't even know what's going on. Same thing for freshman year of college. I was more worried about the academics than the athletics when I went to college, my freshman year, because same situation, just doing enough to get by in high school and not really giving it my all until the athletic director um, challenged me my senior year of high school. She's like, "Hey, you know what, can you even make honor roll? I bet you can't even make honor roll." And I did it just because she challenged me. So it wasn't all the other rest of you, I just coasted. And so this, I knew I couldn't coast through any college classes. So end of my first semester, freshman year, I had a 1.8 GPA. And that was from trying. That was from trying, but that was me not knowing how to balance basketball classes, study table, breakfast club, where you got to get up at 6:30 in the morning, work out, traveling, just trying to have a social life. It was a hot mess. So I thought I was going to be ineligible, and all. Oh, it was a hot mess. Freshman year of college was very nerve-wracking because it was scary. So after that, I had talks. Coaches had my back so much, which was cool. They made sure I had tutors. They started helping me with time management. And hey, you know what? After practice, you're welcome to stay over here. It's a tutor in this class, blah blah blah. So they helped me with that. And so after that, I don't think I had less than a 3.0 any of the semesters. Made the athletic honor roll, stuff like that. So it was a very hard transition because the academics was whooping me. So it was it was kind of funny. But on top of the academics being difficult, I came on a team who with I think we had 4 senior starters. So 2 of the seniors were in my position. So I was playing post out of high school, and so there was no room for me. The girl who was ahead of me, her name was Sue Nissen, senior. She ended up being the all-time leading scorer at CMU. So I had no chance of getting her any of her minutes. Also had Susie Merchant on the team. She played a guard. She's the head coach at Michigan State right now.
Wow.
Yeah, she was a senior when I was a freshman. So our team was good. We finished 21-8 my freshman year. So there was no minutes for me, but I still was like, I'm still better than, I'm thinking I'm still better than at least 4 of these girls. Let me come off the bench first. It was, if I would have knew at the time, I would have redshirted that year. But I didn't know. I didn't know a lot. I was just hooping. I knew I loved the game, and I kind of let that carry me for basketball. So my sophomore year, after I worked my butt off, the summer between my freshman and sophomore year, work every day. I was doing some type of workout, whether it was getting in the gym, where I was on the track. I mean, I even got on the track. I never got in the track in high school, but that summer between, I was like, oh no, with all these seniors going, they're gonna have to start me or something. But guess what? I didn't start. I didn't start the beginning of my sophomore year. She kind of put those players who waited for those seniors to go in, but I dominated them every practice. We had to wear the gold jerseys. the maroon jerseys had the CMU on the gold, didn't have nothing on the other side.
Gotcha.
So me and this other freshman class that I came in, which was really good, our goal every day was to make them have to take that maroon jersey and flip it over, and we can flip ours. So by doing that, that made me better. They also made them better. But halfway through sophomore year, she was like, "Okay, you know what? We can't hold you back any longer. You deserve to be in the starting line." And it's crazy because I did the same thing. I was like, "No, I'm good, coach. I'm good coming off the bench." It was crazy.
Wow.
Man.
But this time I legitly was like, "Nah, I'm good." We had a nice flow with our second unit. And I still made all conference. I made second team all conference off the bench my sophomore year in college. So
That's amazing.
Dang. Yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty crazy. And that showed your maturity. Most would like, yeah, put me in the starting lineup. But you chose what's best for you and what's best for the team too. But yeah, I did both. So in college I started and came off the bench.
Oh, okay.
I ended up losing my starting spot. And that was a huge adjustment for me because I never dealt with that before, ever.
Right.
So yeah. So the rest of that season I was kind of a shell of myself, but I went back the next year and it, my mindset changed because coming off the bench was starting to be cool with like Jamal Crawford, and Lou Williams and those guys. So I started kind of watching them and saw how they operated, and then I started to like coming off the bench, and I was just because you got the time to like survey the game and pick where like, okay, I can get my shots there, or other teams doing this and that. So, and I thought it was a lot less pressure too, than being in the starting lineup. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, coming off the bench is not bad, youngsters.
Not at all.
No,
Not at all.
see the flow of the game. You get to see who you're guarding. It is smooth. I think that was one of the reasons that I chose to, just let the flow come, and then I just come in and know where I can make the impact out right away. So.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
I had to because talking about coming off the bench, but it's more so just like your mindset. Because I went to 2 high schools, and so the first high school I went to, like, we was like some dogs. Like, we was one of the best teams in the state, and so then when I go to the second high school, it was like, all right, the coach was like, well, we got all these people here who've been here since like 7th, 8th grade. And I was like, well, so what? And but he wanted me to come off the bench, and so I was like really messed up for probably like half of my junior year because I was better than the guy who was in front of me. But what my coach, he started helping me like realize was like I was finishing the games though. And so it was like I was coming off the bench, but when we really it came down to crunch time and we needed a player out there, like he wasn't playing like I was. And so it's more so like the mindset that you have to have, because when you sitting on the bench and then you thinking like, oh, I need to be starting, and you get out there, then you're gonna mess yourself up because you are pouting or so this got to get your mind right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. For the sake of time, I wanna we talked about your professional career already, but so you played in Israel, Portugal, Switzerland, Turkey. Is that all? Is that all 4?
Pretty much, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So which country was your best just overall experience?
Ooh, I would say Israel for overall experience, just because the majority of people spoke English.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I went. Because I started out Portugal, then Turkey, and then in Portugal, not a lot of people spoke English. And Turkey, they kind of did. But in Israel, once I got to Israel my 3rd year, I'm like, what? Oh, you speak English? Is that a Fridays over there? So just for the culture, it was a lot of American restaurants, American people. All the people spoke English. So overall, just that was dope to me, and it was a lot of Americans over there. Like each team had 2 Americans, so We had all these men's team, all these women's team, and we just had a spot like every week. Everybody knew to meet at this spot, so it was cool as far as that. But competition-wise, Turkey. That was. I didn't win a lot in Turkey because there were a lot of good teams. I had one really good season where we made it to the Final Four of the Turkish Cup, upset the #1 team in Turkey. Like they are Galatasaray. They have this crazy dope soccer team too. But when we beat them, that was like awesome. That was the best competition over there for me.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's dope.
Yeah. What do you think like the biggest difference is between, college ball and professional?
Oof, man, I would say, well, besides them playing a little more dirty, it was like I never had an injury in life until I went over to Europe to play. So they play dirty, they grab you, they undercut you, they do all this stuff. But I think just adjusting to the culture really. Once I adjusted to the culture, like I went to Israel 3 times, I went to Turkey 3 times. So the second time I went to both countries, I'm like, okay, I need to learn some of this language, even if it's the hellos, goodbye, the money, the exchange of the money. When they tell me at the cashier, hey, you owe this much money, I'm able to do that without getting played. But just learning the culture and then kind of the expectations. So they figure if you come in from the United States, then you know how to do everything. In every game, you're going to have 40 points and 20 rebounds. And they want that every time. Like, it was times in Israel where coach wouldn't even speak to me after the game. Like, if we lose, and even if I had 35 and 15, he'll walk right past me out the gym. Coach, keep walking. Like, don't even acknowledge me. So I'm sensitive. So I'm sitting in the back of the bus like, dang, he hate me. He gonna cut me. He gonna send me back home. Or then the next game I'll do really good, and he'll be like, "You get 15 rebounds this game, I'll give you $100 after game." What? I can get that for you in the first half.
Out there like Russell Westbrook.
Right, exactly. And you know what? He would come through and do it. So, okay, if that's all you need for motivation, whether we win or lose, I'm gonna make sure I get what you're expecting of me. So it was college was more. I would say it was a little more fun as far as once I got to play and win, and just the atmosphere, the college atmosphere was like probably the dopest experience of my life. The pro experience is a job. So if you're not if you're not winning, I could do my job per se and get all these statistics, but if we don't win, they're looking for somebody else. So, there was a season where they replaced me. They were just like, we're not winning. Your stats are okay, but we're gonna bring in somebody else. We're gonna bring somebody that's in the WNBA and bring her to replace you. And they did. So it went from being fun, and then when you don't get paid, I don't know if you guys experience going overseas, but they don't always pay you. And if they do, it's not always on time. Yeah, they'll owe you, like if they owe you 10 G's for the month or something, and the due date for money come like the 15th. And it's like the 17th, like, where's my money? You have to call your agent, and then they have to, and it's still happening to this day. I still talk to people like, these teams pay you when they want to. When you're losing, sometimes even when you're winning too. But yeah, it was a lot of up and down, but mostly ups for me overseas. Like I loved the experience, just being in these countries and traveling the world. Once again, not taking advantage of the moment. I could have taken so many pictures, but I was just kind of living in the moment. Like, oh, when I come back next year, I'll take these pictures and stuff. Young people, take advantage of every situation, every moment. Do not assume it's always going to be another time. I'm serious. Like, my mom she even that way now. Take pictures, take pictures. Take pictures. Okay, mom, I got you. And I'm thinking she's just doing too much. No. These memories, it's like major. I could be showing, something on this thing right now. Hey, this is when we had workouts in the Black Sea, preseason workouts. We were running through the Black Sea, stuff like this. I don't have any picture memories. I have it up here, but a kid from the hood, you go back and do this clinic and say, hey, I was at the Black Sea and Turkey. You know what I'm saying? So take pictures. Yeah.
That's great advice. That's great advice. Man, I wish we could continue. We might have to do a part 2. I don't know.
Real.
But yeah.
Real.
Part 2 next year, early next year or something.
For sure. For sure.
I have my coaching thing going. I'll hopefully have my gym, my Big Nick Basketball Academy coming soon.
Let's go.
So yeah, we definitely got to get part 2 in spring. Let's go with the spring.
All right, yeah. Totally down. Totally down.
I like that.
Before we end, let's do some quick hitters real quick to end the show. I'll take the first one. So you pulling up to King Park. You're a teenager, college, whatever. You're playing a game of fives for, let's see, 10 G's. And you got to choose 4 other people to run with you. Who's it going to be? Anybody but like no like NBA players, WNBA players, just people that you seen around the way, played against maybe. Yeah.
Oh, some Grand Rapids people?
First one, but not Colton. No.
With the shorts Oh man, let me see. Well, I'm taking my brother first. I got Nikki Thompkins. I got Sugar Mel. Come on now. You got a legend. I got Sugar Mel.
Slingshot.
Let me see. Man, a lot of people don't know, but this kid, Jermaine Carter, y'all know Jay Carter? Man, he went to Creston and he may have gotten in some trouble after high school, but this kid, his IQ, and I don't know why I'm calling him kid, because he's probably early 40s right now, but the best IQ in the city that man, I'm taking Jay Carter with me. Okay. And then, why y'all do me like this? Grand Rapids people, like, why you didn't say me? Man, I'm taking my niece Asa, man. She a bucket.
Okay.
She a bucket, man. It's me and Asa got the backcourt over there. Got Sugar Mel, got my big bro, and I got Jay Carter. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Off the top. That's what I got. Yeah. So
squad. All right, one more. We got NBA Mount Rushmore. Who you got on there?
That's 5 people on there? Oh.
4.
4.
4.
Let me see. I got AI. I got MJ. I got Chuck. Charles Barkley. Ooh. Man. I got Shaq. I got Shaq. That's who I got. I'm old school. These new school guys are cool, but they ain't put in enough time yet.
Okay.
They ain't put in enough time yet. So I'm rolling with them.
Shaq, 2000. That was like the first NBA finals that I literally sat down and watched from beginning to end. I was like 10 years old, so I was super young. Like I remember like the Jordan finals, just going back and forth, kind of watch. But like 2000 finals, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember the game when Shaq got in foul trouble. Kobe took over, started doing the. That era Shaq was some of the probably the best basketball player I've ever seen, man. Like, most
total dominance.
Yeah.
Shaq,
and that's what's hard with me, that with the between Kobe and AI on there, because that's they both so impactful, man. But
sure.
AI just that grit about him.
Yeah, I used to love watching AI. It was, I think everybody did, but Shaq though, I mean, if he wanted it, real talk, he could have shut down the GOAT conversation. If he really wanted it,
easily, I agree on that.
He could have shut it all the way down.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, Nikki. Yo, I appreciate you. We appreciate you so much for spending, about an hour with us today. It's been amazing learning about you. We've always, known about you and the stuff that you've done, but to know even more and to really learn your story, it's definitely been a blessing to us. And you're a blessing to the community. Keep doing what you're doing. We've seen you firsthand, interacting, with kids and coaching and all that stuff too. So you're an amazing person. And I think I speak, between me and Josh, like we look up to you. So we just wanted to let you know that for sure.
Hey, yeah, hey, you guys, I have bragged about you guys too, just being like just stand-up gentlemen and your love for Christ, being dope hoopers on top of that. You don't see that often, and it's genuine from you guys. I never see anything just seen forced. So, man, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate what you're doing. I'm excited to see what you're gonna do with the chosen ones. And we got to play a game of sevens one time for the one time, all three of us.
That's true.
Just because I see that left hand, let's
man, I already know I'm taking the L.
I gotta stop. Yeah, I gotta stop running. You know what I mean?
Man, I appreciate y'all so much for just thinking of me and having me on here. And this is dope, man. I hope that a lot of young people hear this and it gives what's missing.
Yeah, likewise.
So,
yeah.
Anything, Jay?
Man, loved having you on. Next time in the spring.
For sure.
Yes, sir. Until then,
for sure.
I gotta do it big.
All right, man. Y'all stay tuned. Part 2 coming soon with Big Nick. We appreciate having Nikki Thompkins on with us. It's Wes and Josh. It's the chosen ones. We'll see y'all next time.